Messi Co, breaking Major League en la ciudad del sol. Here in Miami, we know who's el campeón. Leo my team, Suárez on the field, Alex wedding day team. Como usted ya es un win, the trio of R16 muchachos. La familia se escucha en los barrios. Esta camiseta pinky la llevan todos los guachos. Los rookies quedan sin comentarios. Messi ambetea, tiki-taki gol. El estadio Chase bañado en llor y sudor. Aquí se ama y se respeta el balón. Florida es tu casa, acostúmbrate al calor. Estate listo pa' Messi Co. Estate listo pa' Messi Co.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another live episode of the Inter Miami midweek live show, Messi Co. 5 Reasons Sports. How you guys doing? It's been a while, I feel like, but there's good things on the horizon, good things happening for Inter Miami. So I'm excited to talk about it, excited to chat with you guys. It's just me today. Unfortunately, Ashley and Matt couldn't make it today. That's life. Things happen, but it's okay. The party goes on. We got a lot to party about, a lot of really cool things to talk about Inter Miami, but I want to give it a little bit of time for you guys to start coming in. We're going to have I think we're going to have fun today. We're going to have a little bit of a chat. I'm going to need you guys to put your questions in, your comments, all that sort of thing. I really want to interact with you guys today and really be able to feed off of each other. So this is going to be exciting. There's a lot going on here, especially with everything that's happened with champions, with the Mundial de Clubes and all that. So kind of want to go ahead and start talking about that. So who's in here? Come on, chat. Let's see who's in here today. I want to see you guys, see if some of the regulars are here. If we've got anybody new, I see that there's a few already starting to come in. So, guys, FIFA Mundial de Clubes, Club World Cup. What do we think, huh? Did any of us expect what Inter Miami has been able to pull off in this FIFA Club World Cup? I didn't, that's for sure. And I'll be honest with you, I was one of the ones that at the beginning said, you know what, for me and this Inter Miami team, as long as they can go into this Club World Cup and just show that they have fight in them, to show that they're competitive, I'd be happy. That's all I wanted. I wanted to see a turnaround. And mind you, this was when the team was in the midst of a really bad streak where they just really looked bad on the field. It looked like they weren't happy playing with each other. They weren't getting the results that they needed to against teams. Suarez wasn't scoring. Messi kind of looked tired. It was really bad. And we finally look like we're on the other side of this, right? Right towards the before the break, going into the Mundial de Clubes, Inter Miami, had a really good tie away from home. Then they won 2 games back to back. They looked really good, and they're out of the group. Who would have thought? I want to go into some of these comments real quick here. PSG looking cooking of the century coming soon. Hey, look, you might call me crazy, and I said the same thing when we were talking about some of these games that we could win them. I think that we can beat PSG. Call me crazy, clip it, put it on YouTube, put it everywhere. I think that we can beat PSG, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. What does it say? Let's talk about the poise, composure, and confidence. This team looks different. They literally look different. A team that went on the field prior to this little streak that they had going into the Club World Cup that didn't look confident and didn't look like they understood what Mascherano wanted of them. They didn't look comfortable in the positions that they were playing. They didn't look good in the strategy that Mascherano had implemented. And now it looks like they've gone into this game with all the confidence and this tournament with all the confidence in the world. So I got to agree, a lot of confidence, a lot of poise, composure. When you're going into these stadiums, you got to think about this. They're used to playing in MLS, right? Obviously. And they're going into stadiums that maybe aren't the fullest, even though when they are, it's mostly like they're always playing at home because they're facing teams that or teams that have fans that are rooting for Messi. They see a lot of pink in the stadium. And now they're facing teams that have fans that have traveled from South America, from Europe, from different parts of the world that are really showing up for their teams. And this is where they're really feeling that pressure of the away fans and just the magnitude of this tournament, just knowing how much is on the line for them, knowing how much it would mean for their fans, for them to move on, and how I think also how low the expectations were from a lot of people outside that kind of fed into it, right? They were like, everybody's against us. Everybody thinks we're not going to make it out. Everybody thinks we're going to go into this Club World Cup and get absolutely destroyed 3-0, 4-0. And I think all of that pressure and everything was on them. And the fact that they could, not only did they battle that, but I feel like they used it, right, as motivation. So that to me was incredible. Thought Al Ahly was going to clap Miami's cheeks. Look, they're one of, if not the top team in Africa. They're, I mean, you're talking about 100 years of history. You're talking about an insane amount of money that they spend. I think it's like over $100 million in players. Like they were supposed to be Inter Miami, especially how, again, Inter Miami did kind of start to come out of their slump towards, the end, but they were in a slump for quite some time, not performing like they were used to. So the fact that they beat Al Ahly was just really good. And I think it just set the tone for the rest of the tournament for them. You can finally see the chemistry in the team, the connection, and I think, better stated, the line is working. 4-4-2 seems to be working. I think it works very well, 4-4-2, especially because you gain a lot more. I think you gain a lot more structure in the midfield. You have people that can help you on the counter. That's some of the things that I think Inter Miami really had trouble dealing with. So for them to be able to have more people in the midfield, to have guys like Kremaski that's running his butt off, even though we haven't been able to really deal with Yannick Bright, we haven't, not deal with, but we haven't had Yannick Bright. I think other guys have really stepped up in that midfield and have really, really helped us. You know that a lot of times we'd lose the ball and then we were off to the we'd lose. We have Ashley here that joined us, so that's awesome. What's up, Ash?
Surprise.
It's nice to have you here. This is so cool. This is a great surprise. I was telling everybody that unfortunately something came up, but it's so cool to have you on. So I'm super excited that you're here.
Surprise.
So awesome,
I know.
Awesome.
I wasn't gonna. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
I wasn't going to. I had something come up, but you know what? I saw the notification and I saw you on, and I was like, you know what? I got a lot to say, so I'm sorry for interrupting. But yeah, I'm really happy.
Just catching up with the comments here. A lot of good input, a lot of good comments here. So if let's just, I guess, run through a few more of these, and then we can kind of start chatting a little more. So where were we? So Messi aura is huge for all players. Never played against him before. Yeah, I mean, the respect is still there, Ash. We've seen guys, especially in this tournament, come up to him and ask him for his jersey again and again, and ask to talk with him and hug him after the game. So,
yeah.
and just his aura around the team. Like you talk about, Ash, like a team of, well, most of this, you have Jordi Alba, Busquets, Suarez, but aside from them and Messi, most of this team has never been in a tournament like this, of this magnitude. Many people have never been on the world stage like this. So, like, how big is it to have Messi and Suarez and Busquets and Jordi with his small appearances? He hasn't been really able to play, but how big is it for them to be able to go into the tournament and have experience to lean on in such a big stage?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I mean, I know you alluded to it earlier, but this Inter Miami team, what we've seen from them in the last, since the opening match last Saturday, has been nothing short of really, like, spectacular. And, or when we were previewing it, we said the team wasn't in great form, but I said this, you said this when we talked to, people from Drive Pink Dialogue. We said it, Matt has said it. We may not be as good of a team overall, but you know what? We have Messi and they don't. And it's true. Even, celebrating his 38th birthday yesterday, if I believed it for a minute when I never thought we'd play at this level, honestly. And you could say we should have won 3 of 3. That's how well we played. First game, it was seconds away from winning, I think. And just now against Palmeiras, and I think, Suarez, an excellent goal. But when you have the greatest player of all time on your team in an international tournament, knowing, the world is watching and still having that competitive spirit, I'm sorry, there's not many people I would choose ahead of him, even at age 38. So it's been great to see.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I think,
and Suarez too. Suarez too has totally. I mean, that goal was absolutely sensational that he scored.
No, it was an incredible goal. I'm just kind of looking here at each game. So obviously 0-0 versus Al Ahly. Then we go and we beat Porto 2-1. So the Al Ahly
Which we
game
thought
was,
we should have won that
yeah,
game, honestly. In the second half, we were the far superior team.
yeah, and that's football. Sometimes that's how it works. Then we go in and we beat Porto. I thought that was going to be the toughest match, was the Porto match, and people were talking about Samu, how he was gonna just kill everybody
Yeah.
on defense with his size and speed, and somehow we were able to take care of him, and we end up winning 2-1 that game. That was a huge surprise.
He
And
did
then
kinda scare me a little when we were playing him, honestly.
yeah, and then we tie against Palmeiras, which for the Palmeiras one, and as we talk about this, I'll bring this one up. Gian, why did they give up the 2-0 lead? Was it defense, or I saw the tired legs and saw Messi shake his head? To me, that Palmeiras game was insane. The fact that we went up 2-0 and we were 10 minutes, Ash, 10 minutes away from beating Palmeiras, who is an incredible team from South America. I think they're the Libertad. Are they the no? I don't know if they won Libertadores last. I'd have to check, but they're always in Libertadores. They're one of the top teams in Brazil. The fact that we almost beat them and almost came out of the group first to face Botafogo instead of PSG, and we were
This
10
close
minutes
with a
away.
little Fafa, miscue, but even so,
Yeah.
I mean, those things happen,
Yeah, so I
we
guess let's
wouldn't.
talk about that game a little bit since it's the most recent one. But I was really impressed with everybody. I think everybody did a great job. They looked amazing 80 minutes in. And then at the end of the day, what does it come down to? I really feel like it was just fitness and
Fitness,
energy. And it's just
injuries,
they just
yeah.
had no legs left over. You're talking about playing in like 90-degree weather, humidity, all that stuff. And for as much as we've talked about having a deep bench, they really don't. They didn't have players that they could really put in there that could keep on with the same energy level we had through 80 minutes. So I just think it was that unfortunately it was 10 minutes of just really poor play and 10 minutes of they just had nothing left in them. It was just really quite unfortunate. And one of the things I know that we like to look at, or what's been mentioned, like you said, about Fafa and missing that, and I say 100%. I think Fafa had to score that, or at least get a better chance. But also Maxi Falcon, and I think it was the second goal. He has a ball in the air where he jumps up and it's a clear, but he actually heads it down into the middle of the box. That ends up resulting. Well, I don't want that to take away from the majority of the great performance that he
Agreed.
had, but I think it needs to be talked about. That kind of stinks that play ended up happening. He should have done better. And I think Fafa should have done better. But at the end of the day, proud of this team, man. They made it out. That's insane.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would say, Mascherano, for someone that we've had definitely things to say about, has, in my opinion, coached 3 really fantastic game plans. And yeah, again, of course, like I said, you have Messi in that, doesn't matter who your coach is or what you say. If you have Messi and the other person doesn't, like, that's good. But I think the game plan for all 3 teams was really, really great, starting with the second half of the first game against Al Ahly. I will say, I think in this final game and in the last 20 minutes, the personnel and substitutions got a little away from him, I think because of injury, that he couldn't control, and he had to use his 3 windows faster than he wanted to. Redondo had to come off early. And I think what happened is, Noah Allen pulled up, but he couldn't get subbed off. And so he had to keep playing. And I think Palmeiras knew that. And so they targeted him, right, for those last few minutes
Yeah.
because he couldn't get changed. And so, it was just unfortunate. I will say for Maxi Falcon, yeah, the header down was a little bit of a mistake. And look, if for Fafa, if that happens in like the 40th minute, you say, oh,
Yeah.
better, you get another chance, something like that. Like, it was just the timing in the moment where it felt, I think, big. But yeah, losing Ian Frey, losing Redondo towards the end of that match, I think is what made the difference. And Maxi Falcone, though, I thought has been so outstanding in all 3
Superb.
matches. And like you said it earlier, like having the Suarez Messi international tournament experience. Same for Maxi Falcone, played for Colo Colo, has, Copa Libertadores.
Yeah.
I'll say it once correctly one day.
Did it great.
Um, has that experience, and especially with Jordi Alba really not able to play as much. he's done, I think, outstanding on the back line. Noah Allen is having to do so much, and you see the mistakes sometimes, you see the lapses, and it can get frustrating. But if you think about what that kid is doing, being a homegrown grown player, and the what he's being asked to do on this stage, I think it's impressive. And Ian Frey was phenomenal until he obviously got injured, but overall, Tomas Aviles, we gotta give a shout out to him. He did not get a yellow card in the game, and I know that sounds silly, but, like, he played the whole game, and I didn't have any once after the first 20 minutes, I didn't feel at all that he was gonna do something crazy. Like, I thought he was totally in control. So all of those things, like, everyone really deserves their credit.
Yeah, all those things that you're saying lead into Noe's comment. I would argue that we won as a team. It wasn't Messi did everything. Of course, he helped, but we won as a group. Everybody contributed. So just exactly what you're saying now. Literally, everybody had a part. Everybody played a role on this team. Everybody, I think, was performing probably at the best that we've seen this team perform in a long time, facing the toughest teams that they've played, the most adversity, and on the biggest stage in the world currently right now. So to see all of that clicking, I think is amazing. I was saying at the beginning before you jumped on, Ash, that, for me, I didn't really have high expectations. I think maybe many of us didn't. My only expectation or wish from this team going into this tournament was to see them perform well and to really look competitive. Whether they lost, won, or tied, I wanted to see a competitive team, and I think that wish has been granted. This team looks very competitive, very good, and they showed that they can battle against the best teams in the world. And it wasn't just Messi. Messi, as always, his magic, his presence, his ability to create, to score, to do so many things on the field. We're even seeing him run more than he's, I think, ever ran going into
Oh my
the
god,
defense.
he's been coming on defense so much.
Everywhere, everywhere. But everybody else is helping. Everybody else is making the runs that they need to. Tadeo Allende playing great. Suarez showing up when we weren't sure what he would look like after that difficult streak that he had. So, what you said, what this comment is saying, it's great to see this be an overall team win, and no longer just Messi has to have a Messi moment for this team to win. So,
and think about the money the team is getting. That now that they've made it out of the group, I think they've amassed something close to like $21 million. And for, obviously we're a top heavy team and investing a lot in our top players, building a new stadium, all those things. Like, this is huge for the future of the club and the foundation, building on it. That was the point of bringing in Messi and Suarez and all these players, was to be able to build on, and create a legacy for this club. I will give myself a little credit for once and say, not maybe for once, maybe I give myself credit more often, but before the first match started, hours before, I was with Scotty and Sarah on Drive Pink, and I know I shout them out a lot, but I think they do just such great analysis and are really good guys. And I said, everyone thinks Inter Miami are going to finish last or not finish well in this tournament. I think Palmeiras was locked in for that first, even though they didn't play great. I just felt that they had the fans, they had the energy, they had the momentum, where, like, I just felt like they were going to win the group. But I said that second spot was open, and you would think it was going to be Porto, but I was like, there's every chance Inter Miami could start strong and get that second spot. And in the end, look, they could have probably gotten the first, but it wasn't meant to be. And what they've shown has been outstanding. Like, really deserves credit, because this was a difficult tournament. It's a difficult moment. The world is watching. We're an MLS team, like Quasar says here. The salary cap of compared to teams that have 300 to 500 million, like the team we're going to be playing on Sunday, PSG, Palmeiras, even with these big budgets, this team has really shown out, and it's been really amazing. And look, maybe we say in hindsight, yeah, we would have preferred Botafogo, we would have preferred being first, but now we may get a messy revenge game.
And look, thinking about
Botafogo would have been hard.
Botafogo beat PSG.
Exactly. And both teams were going to be really hard. So at least it's when you have someone who's playing with a little bit and he doesn't normally need extra, but there's going to be a little extra juice. So I don't know. Any
You know
dog,
what's
any
nuts though?
day.
Like I was reading up on Dembele. Obviously, he hasn't played the first few games, and Dembele is already practicing. And there's rumblings that he may be able to play the next round. So we may
Yeah,
have
that
to
hurts.
play against Dembele. And
What did
look,
I say? And do you remember what I said in our pre-show? I said Noah Allen versus Dembele. Let's see it.
that's gonna be a wild matchup. Noah Allen versus Dembele. That's something. That's theater. That's a movie you gotta watch. Dembele versus
Talking about
Noah
the
Allen.
freedom to dream. Imagine Noah Allen thinking 3 or 4 years ago when he's coming up in the academy, just playing, grew up in South Florida. Think about that though, that he's about to play against European champion, one of the best players, Ballon d'Or finalist in Dembele. I mean, that's a testament to the club. It really is. And I'm not just trying to sugarcoat and be like, oh, Inter Miami, amazing, amazing, amazing. We've had our moments about them, but this is something to be proud of.
No, it is. Noah Allen's growth and just being able to slot in at different positions whenever he needs in the defense. Center back, left back. It's great, especially when you're missing a guy like Jordi Alba that just brings so much. Obviously, you're not getting the same with Noah Allen, but I'm going to say that the gap certainly isn't as big as you would have thought.
And the heart,
right?
he's got the heart, he's got
And
the
the heart.
dog.
So that's great to see. But knowing that Dembele might play next game, I think is going to be fun to watch, and it'll be interesting to see what Mate does there, who he trusts, what that
You
looks
have
like.
Vitinha, I mean, you have Nuno Mendes, I think, right? Like, because Nuno Mendes, did he travel with the team? I think so. But I
I'm
mean,
not.
you just have crazy. I mean, it's
No,
it's
it's
a tall order for Inter Miami, no doubt. But to the fact that we're in this moment and we can even say like, oh, I don't know the way they're playing, or like, oh, I don't know, Messi's vengeance or whatever. I mean, to say that about what is right now the best team in the world, right? Just won the Champions League, best coach in the world, all of those things, one of the best players in the world. It makes you go, wow, that's really saying something for Inter Miami that we're even having a conversation and not saying, oh, it's going to be a 20-0 game. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to see, because I know obviously you look at PSG, and you think it's a tall order to beat them, especially knowing that there's a possibility of Dembele coming back. But I mean, really, again, Botafogo beat them 1-0. They completely beat the crap out of Atletico Madrid. I don't know what the heck happened there. That was 4-0. But after that, they actually only lost 2-0 to the Seattle Sounders. They beat Seattle Sounders
Yeah.
2-0. So at the end of the day, and I think if you've learned anything from this tournament, there are going to be the 4-0s, 5-0s. I think we even saw like a 10-0 so far in this tournament. But the
Then
teams are a
Bayern
lot
loses to
closer.
Benfica. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like that.
But teams are a lot closer than you think. So when you look at Inter Miami versus PSG, okay, yeah, PSG, Champions League champs, Dembele, Hakimi, Pacho, all these really important players. But as you said before, Inter Miami has Messi. Inter Miami has Suarez. Suarez may be on one leg and old,
Gigi
but
Ustari Buffon.
These are guys that have the pedigree, and they've been in these places. They know how to play against big teams. And one of the things we also know is teams grow in these tournaments. They play bigger than what they are. And I think Inter Miami is going to step up to the plate. I don't think that Ash. I think that Inter Miami can beat PSG. Call me nuts, call me crazy. I think that they can beat PSG. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm not saying that it's that just because Messi is the best that we're going to be. All I'm saying is the opportunity is there. They've proven that they're up to the task so far in this group, and PSG have proven that they're not leaps and bounds above other teams around the same level. Again, Seattle Sounders and then Botafogo. I know Botafogo is good, but I know PSG lost to Botafogo. So again, I don't know. Am I nuts like to think that we can actually win this?
No, because you know what? There's something to be said. Like, tournament football is different. PSG has had a very long season. We're on different calendars. They've just had to they've been in every, they've played every possible match that they could play domestically and internationally. And so there's definitely fatigue there. But yeah, to your point, the fact that we have a chance and if look, I mean, would I be surprised? Yes, but would it, it would be a happy surprise, right? I'd be watching that game and be like, "Wow, we're actually doing this." But no reason to say we couldn't the way the team's been playing and having Messi, etc. I will say though, and this is a good point, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen for right back because, Ian Frey and Cello have both been playing excellent and now both out with injury. I mean, Cello maybe will play, but,
Ian Frey's not,
no,
definitely not.
Ian Frey is out for sure, and so it's gonna be, you know, we'll see how I think maybe you may even see a situation where you have Tomas Avilesco as the right back, and then you have Maxi Falcon and Noah Allen as your center backs, and then Jordi Alba on the left. Like they may not have a choice, so we'll see how that shakes out. But
That's going to be one of those where you're
or
going to
Busquets
have
comes in, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
Busquets can go in, or if you're not going to do that, you're going to have to play possibly with three center backs, two wing backs, maybe just to
right.
reinforce. Or you're going to have your two defense. You're going to have two players in the mid that always stay back. You're going to have Busi and maybe Kremaski that runs a lot, playing there.
Redondo had played great. I mean, I know he
But
go.
that's the thing, though. You have to choose between Redondo gives you the ability to play make more, but Kremaski has more power, has the ability to run and bang bodies against the best of them, and I think that's where Mascherano is going to have to make that decision. I certainly don't think that Inter Miami is going to be the one that comes out and has possession of the ball and is just playing on on a PSG side of the field, because if they do that, the moment they turn the ball over, with the speed that PSG has, I mean, we've seen that against other teams that have nowhere near the speed that PSG has, and it's always a nightmare as soon as we turn that ball over.
Yeah,
So I think that we're probably
it'll
going to be a
probably be
lot
a
more
back five.
conservative.
It'll
Yeah,
probably be a back
and it's
five.
going to be a lot more conservative. I don't know about Yannick. I haven't heard anything yet about
I
him
don't
and
think
his
Yannick
injury
Frey will be
recovery.
there. I don't
Is
think
that
Ian Frey will be there, but I know as I was saying, I was really like Busquets is for sure gonna be the third center back, I think, and they're gonna probably play with the back five. Probably. Not 100%, but probably. But Rolando has been great. Kremaski, I think you're right about it. And I mean, Segovia, phenomenal game. He had obviously Messi and Suarez, amazing games. You just need moments, right? That's all you need is you need to hold your own and then just have moments of brilliance. And we have the most brilliant moment maker of them all. And so it gives you a chance. But overall, it's just God, I'm proud of this team and I'm proud of the effort. And what it also signifies to me is we are 100% seeing that 2026 Messi extension. If not, maybe even 2027, honestly, with the level he's playing at right now, but at least definitely through next year in the World Cup.
Yeah. Now, now just because I'm seeing a comment here about it says, when has Redondo ever playmaker? I think that he does have that ability. I think that obviously he's not the main playmaker. You have Messi, you have Velasco Segovia does a lot of that as well. But I think that Redondo gives you more playmaking ability versus Kremaski, which is what we were talking about in that comparison. He has the ability to make better passes. He doesn't have as much of a defensive presence and running ability as Kremaski, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
that's more what I'm referencing there. This is a special game for Messi. Hope all our players fight hard for Messi. He was not happy in PSG, just like Argentina teams fighting for Messi. So we'll
I
see.
agree with that. That's a good point. I think
Yeah.
it's a very fair point because after the fact, obviously Inter Miami was very happy to have him, but Messi was not treated amazingly in Paris. And, you know, I think it still bothers him to this day. And I think the team also, they know that their talisman, their captain, he's done so much for them. They play for him. They learn from him. you may see that energy, and just sometimes, it's that 1%. Vengeance is a special thing. I mean, Luis Suarez has made a career out of, being angry and playing and trying to take out his frustration on the other team, and it could happen. We'll see. But there will be a
So
lot of emotions. I think much more emotions than if we were playing Botafogo, which may play into Inter Miami's strength, may not. The fact that we've made it to this round, though, it's really exciting, and it'll be fun.
yeah. Now there's a window for reinforcement. Inter should bring some players for second stage. In fact, MLS should give some players.
MLS players to Inter Miami.
Yeah, I was surprised. Ash, by the way, I know that you have to step out, so if
I
you
can do a
step-
few more minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I was actually surprised that we didn't do anything during that special transfer window that we had for the cup. So Suarez
Definitely
and
will be
Guti,
fighting for
Ala
them.
will definitely fight hard. Oh, 100%.
More than they normally do, and they're already like these crazy competitors. So think about it like that.
Yeah. Do we have some yellow card? I know that obviously one is, well, actually, I believe it reset already. Let me double check
I
right
thought it
here.
wasn't resetting until the semifinals, which I thought was crazy. Maybe I'm wrong.
I actually texted you in the chat what that rule was. I have to go back and see if I can
Well,
find it
Aviles
here.
is in yellow card danger just by existing, but I will say,
Always.
but no, he deserves credit though. I mean, last match when he had to play and he had to do his role, totally stepped up. And moments like that can change your career, right? They can show you that you can do it without having to do X, Y, and Z, or without having to be so reckless. And you have the ability to do more, and hopefully it sticks with him.
Yeah.
Messi got a yellow card, so make sure he doesn't get another one.
That would be insane. I'm almost certain they're not going to give him one. That'd be nuts. Who cares about yellows? PSG will probably win anyways. I mean, I care about yellows, and I think that we're going to beat PSG. I think it's very much possible, so I'm not really worried about
Where's
that.
the match going to be?
I'll tell you now. I got my World Cup, my Club World Cup app open here. The next match, let's see, fixtures.
While you're looking for that, I will say I think DAZN has done a pretty good job of coverage of all the matches. We've been able to get highlights, good quality, good commentary. I mean, I'm sure were you watching Spanish or English last night? Or
I was watching Spanish. It's going to be at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta
Atlanta.
at 12.
Right. Well, it's
Sunday.
a roof though, so it doesn't matter. It's an indoor stadium.
So that's at 12.
Thank God, you'd say, because I mean, having to play a match, having to play out in the heat at 12. I mean, a lot of these teams have been struggling, but Inter Miami do have that as an advantage because they have to deal with it a lot.
A lot of teams have actually been complaining about the field conditions. Not sure if you've seen that. A lot of you talking about Luis Enrique, coaches, all these people. They're saying that this better be fixed by the World Cup next year, from just how the pitch looks and the fact that there are holes or there little bumps, so that the ball doesn't necessarily roll that well. Others are saying things like, they wet the field and within a matter of minutes it's dry. I don't know how much,
well, a summer tournament, when you have afternoon kickoffs, that will happen. Also, pitch conditions. Look, I get it, but all the stadiums are grass, right? They all made sure they switched to grass for the ones that were turf. And then also, a rainy, cold Tuesday night in Stoke also has bad field conditions. Like, no excuses. Like, you still have the every you play in tournaments around the world. It's there. I still think the conditions of most fields in the U.S. are good enough where you can still do it. And yeah, the heat is tough, but it's part of, again, playing in the summer in the afternoon. And when you are used to playing in England, or when it's cold for 10 months a year or 9 months a year, it's different. These are all things that these teams should have planned for and prepared for, knowing they would have been in this tournament. I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, they should have played more games under the. I feel like every Premier League game it rains. And when I went to watch Arsenal play, it was raining.
And summer in Spain, May and August, you could have really hot days. Like, sorry, this is a warm. I mean, what did you think a Miami 1 p.m. kickoff was going to be 50 degrees? I don't know. I just think that's crazy. Like, girl, move on.
Yeah, so that, I mean, so what you said earlier, Inter Miami definitely has an advantage. They've played in these conditions with the humidity, the random rain showers, and then the humidity that comes after the rain showers, and just hot. So that's definitely played in their
And
favor.
artificial turf that they
Yeah,
have to play on sometimes.
and you can tell a lot of these teams are struggling with that. And that's
This is
look,
so
I
cute,
think
by
in
the
these
way.
types of tournaments, you always
This
try to
is true.
find some advantage. You try to figure out a way to be better, to play better, and every little thing is an advantage.
That's
You
why you
know,
don't see Enzo Fernandez or like Angel Di Maria, like you don't, or Otamendi. You don't see them complaining about the field conditions because they play in Comembol. They play, in Argentina and Bolivia and Colombia, and they have to deal with way worse conditions and way harder moments than
dude, you got to
this.
play against Bolivia, and you have to go to get to the
Like
stadium. You have to
8,000
take
feet in the
a
air. Yeah,
donkey to a bus to a trolley.
donkey.
It's insane. And then you get there and you have to have an oxygen mask on. It was funny. One of these teams, I forgot which one it was. Damn, which one was it? There was this team that had this tournament. They had their players, their bench they were sitting inside the
I
locker
saw
room.
that. I think that was Dortmund.
Dortmund. That was embarrassing, wasn't it? Like, how do you have your
I mean,
bench sitting
for the
inside?
temperature, I thought it was embarrassing because, like, it was, like, 86 in Cincinnati and humid. Like, yeah, I mean, if it was, like, 103 degrees in California, yeah, I can understand it a little bit more, but, like, I think it was 88 degrees, which is hot, but, I mean, this isn't the desert. Like, I don't know. I just think the Conmebol players, you're seeing them just dealing with it and doing what they can in the tournament. But then I'll just say at the UEFA, some of those players are way more up in arms about it. And it's just like, go play in Brazil, like in September in
Are
a
they
World Cup
divas?
qualifier.
Is that what it is? Are they divas?
Like that's talk about tough conditions. Try doing that. That is tough conditions.
Yeah. I think, a lot of people thought this tournament was going to be a flop, and they thought that people weren't going to show up. There were a lot of rumblings about how empty the stadium was going to be here in Miami for the first game against Al Ahly, the opener. And man, this
60,000.
tournament is insane. Like the amount of, especially how, like, you talk about Boca Juniors and how
Amazing.
they've been
Yeah.
all over the news, the way they fill the stadium, the way Palmeiras has filled the stadium. Many even Bayern, when they played against Boca, I mean, they didn't have
Yeah.
anywhere near Boca, but they filled the
The
stadium.
One of the South Korean teams had huge turnout. Egyptian
Yes.
teams, huge turnout. Yeah, no,
No,
it's
it's
really cool.
insane. And I think it's great to see this. It's a preview for the World Cup. I think it's going to be amazing. I mean, I'm so excited. Look, I probably shouldn't say this, but for a bit there, I forgot there was a Gold Cup going on. Like, that's how insane this tournament has been. Like, it's just
Been a
been
good
so
tournament.
fun to watch. I'm watching basically every game. Today I'm excited. There's River Plate versus Inter Milan. That's an insane game tonight at 9. It's like you don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Every game has been great. So that's just exciting. And now moving into the round of 16, and the fact that I was excited for the round of 16 anyways, and now to know that Inter Miami is going to be in it and facing PSG. When did I ever think I was going to see Inter Miami versus PSG? When in the world did I think I was going to see that? Like,
Never.
never. And just the fact
Because
that
we
I
never
had that
even
opportunity.
believed that we would come close to coming out of this group, and it's just
No,
yeah.
no,
No,
it's
it's
just
super great. And I also look, some games, some stadiums are a little not full, but I'll tell you this, any summer tournament, I mean, you think every World Cup game is full to the match, but in the group stages sometimes, and when you're playing in remote places, like not it doesn't depending on the time, if it's the middle of the week, if it's, 1 PM, there are circumstances where it's not all full, but I will say a lot of the Miami games, you've been to a few, excellent atmospheres. MetLife Stadium, you've seen excellent atmosphere. The Rose Bowl when Atletico and PSG played it. The first half, I think it was quiet, but it was also a 12 o'clock game. And then the second half, it was almost full. It was so cool. Like, I think after a difficult Copa America last year where there was concerns about the US infrastructure and the soccer and the security and the energy, all of those things, like, I think they have done a really good job with this tournament, trying to cater to as many people as possible.
Yeah, they've done a great job. I think this is funny. From Chip, my 13-year-old grandson played last night for 80 minutes and 95 attempts in New York.
Yeah.
My comment is, suck it up, Buttercup. Maybe you should buy some fans. Agreed.
And
You've
it's like
got
Spain gets hot. I don't get it. England doesn't get that hot, but like Spain gets hot, Italy gets hot during, like, what do you mean?
yeah. I don't understand, and I guess we can. I know you gotta head out. So if anything, let's kind of wrap up maybe with this, and then we can go. How does Miami win the next round? You want me
Yeah,
to
well,
talk? You wanna?
well, it's I mean, I think Noah said Ashley before you leave, so
In that case, Ashley,
in that
you go
case,
first. In that case,
no, you know, I'll be brave. I'll say, how does Miami win the next round? Doing the same thing they've done in these last 3 matches. They play with structure, they play with heart, and they believe. Honestly, they believe in the players around them. Like, they believe that we have Messi, anything can happen. We have Suarez, anything can happen. I'm gonna do my part and play as well as I can because I trust the teammates around me. And that's huge. And so that's what my strategy is keep the energy. It's going to be hard. You know, you're playing a superior team in terms of overall players, coaching, you know, money, etc. Of course, but it just takes being calm, being collected, not letting the moment get away from you, and showing out, and just give yourself a chance. If you have 1 or 2 good chances, you have some of the best chance takers that ever played the game. So just get yourself chances. Miami King said it, calm, fight till the end, 100%. If you keep that energy, anything is possible. I'm not even going to go tactical. I'm going to just say all energy, all heart.
yeah, I think that's definitely a big part of it. I think before you go into tactics, before you go into strategy, it's believing in yourself and just not going in there with a mindset that you're going in as an inferior team. Paper is paper. And one of the beautiful things about football is that anything can happen. I've seen giants be toppled over by teams that you never thought would have done it. You've seen teams, like Leicester City win a Premier League.
I cannot believe you just said that, Gian. I swear on my life, I was about to say, look at Leicester City. I was literally about to say that.
Yeah, no, there's there's so many examples across so many tournaments, across so many leagues, where the quote unquote smaller team beat the giant, the European giant. And I think that this is another case where that can happen. And Inter Miami has to go in with that mindset that we're gonna go in there and we're gonna play. And we're going to play the igual. We're going to play on a level playing field, you versus me. I'm not going to just sit back and wait for you to attack because I feel like I'm in an inferior team. I'm not going to have 11 guys hanging from the goal and just waiting for you to do something and us hoping that there's an opportunity. You got to go in there and be a protagonist. And
take the moment.
And take the moment and try to control the game and just and go in there. And I think that you have to, from the strategy perspective, I think that you also need to know that this isn't a team that you can play like you've played any other team offensively. You've got some of the best defenders in the world. You've got William Pacho, you've got Marquinhos, Hakimi, Mendes. Like
Donnarumma in goal.
You've got it. Yeah, you've got an insane back line there. You have to be creative. You can't have players that are just standing around because it's going to be impossible to break that back line. You have to have Tadeo Allende making a run in behind. You have to have Suarez playing maybe a false 9 role, and then having Tadeo Telasco running in, or if Noah Allen is in there and not Jordi Alba, have Noah Allen make runs. There's a few times he's make runs. Keep that back line guessing. You have to do that, because if you're just stagnant and just sitting there, I think I lost.
Passionate. We lost your video.
Yeah, I one of my cameras got messed up, but you have to be creative in the offensive end. If not, that defense is going to eat you up. And then on the other side, you have to be cognizant of the fact that you may be playing against the speed of Dembele and the speed of others on that team that can break your back line if you have them facing you one-on-one. And that's one of the biggest things that Inter Miami has had to deal with and has had an issue with, is where they lose the ball and in 1 or 2 passes, their center backs are one-on-one, or their left or right backs are one-on-one, and they have everybody else running in from behind that can't help. And that's what Inter Miami has to be 100% on top of. Make sure that they control the ball. They don't have these silly, passes where they give the ball away in their final third. They've done that a few times because this is a team that's not going to forgive you. They're going to score on you. So those are a few things. I think that what we should do is, along with Matt, we'll do an entire match preview against PSG, and we'll go over more of the tactics in there. But I think that those are some of the things that kind of come up off the top of my head. Believe in yourself, and make sure you understand the right strategy to use against a giant like PSG. But I believe 100% that they can win this game. I don't think it's going to be easy by any chance, but they can pull it off.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that we can even say that, I mean, again, this isn't loser talk. Like, I still am expecting the team to show up and show out on Sunday, but it is important to like meet the moment and understand as an Inter Miami fan how great they've played, and how they've really shown so much for the team and for the city and for the academy and all of those things, which has just been really great to see. So they deserve credit. And yeah, there's no doubt, like, why not them? Why can't they win?
Yeah, agreed. So we are going to, again, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up on the video. Make sure you like it. Make sure you follow us. And we're actually going to do a preview for the match. We'll let you guys know. Go follow the Messi Co Twitter account. That's Messi Co. And then you can also follow us on YouTube at 5 Reasons Football. So we'll be putting that out. But we just wanted to get on here, talk to you guys a little bit about how the matches have gone so far. The fact that we made it out of the group, which is insane. I can't believe that. So that's we were excited to talk to you guys about that. But we're going to go ahead and end it here. And we'll make sure that we catch you guys on the next episode.
Thank you.